Sometimes small is good.
I just worried about my friend.
Tanya?
Yeah.
Okay, we are live.
Hi, everybody.
1 second. It's going live to other stuff because
Make sure we're on YouTube. I would hate to miss our YouTube fans.
our YouTube
Fan? Well, Rooster. He's on YouTube
Rooster.
usually.
Haven't seen Rooster on there in a spell. Okay, YouTube's up. All of it's up. And okay, kick us off. Humana.
Welcome to Political Christmas Edition, Head Trauma, where if head trauma
had a podcast, it'd sound like this. Sorry, I was pushing the buttons.
We're very festive today, as you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Jared went all out, and we are matching.
Yeah, Jared went all out. That's what happened. Jared
looks so good. Look, you even got jingle bells.
I know. I gotta. But anyway, so Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. We don't have a guest this week. We were talking to a lady in Florida, but she wasn't able to come on this week. I should have reached out to my friend Katie down in Utah County, the Democrat Party chair down there, and see if she'd come on. But I need to reach out to her, see how she's doing.
Yeah,
I want to do a postmortem with her and have her talk about why she thinks.
Word.
Yeah.
Why? Merry Christmas, Tim.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Tim. But I want to talk to her about why she thinks what she thinks the difference was in that drove this last election so hard towards Trump. And Utah County is I think it's the most Trump supporting large city, which I don't know, is Provo a large city in the US or something like that? And I want to know what she thinks about that. But I don't want to do it to be drag her because she is so common sense and so.
Oh, she's a neat gal
on the ball.
I really enjoyed that show on election night.
Yes, she's so honest and we're not getting a lot of that. Merry Christmas, Sherry.
Hi, Mom.
Yes, you guys need to get down and see Grandma soon. Anyways, we're not getting a lot of that from the mainstream or whatever you call it. But as you carouse around the internets lately, like the Young Turks have been real interesting.
I don't even follow them anymore.
I don't follow them. Well, I kind of do. I like to see what they've got on a story, because if there's a story you're interested in, they're usually a pretty good side to get what the other side is seeing about it. They were. I mean, nowadays they're kind of aligning with a lot of center.
Are they the ones that are also part of the Lincoln Project?
No.
The Young Turks?
No, the Young Turks is what is it? Justice Democrats. They're the ones that got AOC in there, and then she turned around and stabbed him in the back.
What? Weird.
Well, they were trying to get more Bernie Sanders type people in there, but AOC was not that.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
And it's like she's a bartender from New York.
I don't know how to put it.
She's going to try to see Aunt Jane tomorrow.
Oh, good. She would love to see you. She's still very coherent. She's doing very well, but she would love to see you. Yeah, it's interesting.
What, Young Turks?
Well, no, the AOC thing. Every once in a while, something she says is coherent with like the average person with the average struggles. And then it's like she'll snap and it'll be some ridiculousness. Like when she put forward her idea of a Green New Deal, it was literally like, we are going to give as many advantages to minorities, and we're going to make that a priority, and that's how we're going to fix global warming or whatever else. And it was just like, what? And then so it died on the vine.
In fact, everyone would have to replace, any business would have to replace its whole system,
hers
heating
was,
and air. And it was actually, they figured it would cost roughly $100 trillion.
Yeah.
The Green New Deal.
Well, hers was different. Hers was like an addendum to that. Yes.
Either way, it was moronic to think that you can change our country that quickly, especially in as bad a debt as we are in. And as many of you know, Congress is busy at work, voting to keep government open, and Democrats are threatening to shut it down. So here we are. Merry Christmas. Everybody's kind of hopefully in the spirit here in our lovely county and across the state and across the country. I know Christmas is a really tough time of year for some people. Grief is a bitch. And unfortunately, close people to me are going through it. I myself go through it every Christmas. And it's kind of a time of year to just be super nice to your neighbors and reach out and make sure they're doing okay, and to your family, because, nothing is promised. And we never know when this Christmas will be our last with someone. We just never know. And so Jared and I share a lot about politics and the insanity that is DC and sometimes Utah. But I think with this little special we're doing, I think we just want to enjoy the evening with you. And if you guys have something you want to talk about, by all means, leave it in the comments. We'd love to get to it. Anything to laugh at, we're happy to look things up and share whatever we need. We are here for you, because I know we cannot thank you enough. We've been on the show now over a year. We had our anniversary, I think the 11th. And I don't know that we thought we'd be on this long.
No, and I've been doing the previous iteration of this for 2.5 years before that.
Right. And the show you did with your sister.
Yep. That one died a couple of years ago.
But it's been so fun to speak with electeds and speak with candidates, get to know those that won our vote, and to speak with all of you, and to have many of you join us every Friday. And it's been fantastic to have your support. And, just to see these videos on YouTube are getting more and more views. And we just want you to know that we appreciate all of you that subscribe and follow and get the alerts for when we're coming on, because it is such a joy for us. And we hope that it's some fun for you on a Friday night. So tonight will be a pretty short show. We don't have guests tonight. We are going to expect to pack the new year with guests.
Yeah, if you guys want to talk to us about something, we can bring you on, have you talk about it. But I do want to cover, and this isn't in the spirit of Christmas, I should take this scarf off, but we had the school shooter the other day. Is a abnormal one, because it is a cisgendered female. Now, she's unhappy with men, but she was cisgendered, and that is abnormal.
Explain what cisgendered means.
That means that she's a lady that was born a lady and still considers herself a lady.
And again, it's another Christian school.
Yeah, it seems like Christianity is being targeted a lot
around the world
by people of the left or other religion persuasions right now. But so I remember when I was young, I learned about this school shooter, this girl. Oh, it was in the 70s. Her dad bought her a a Ruger 1022, and they were staying in a hotel. Her and her dad and her mom had split up, and she was staying with her dad. And then
Was this in England?
Nope, this here in the U.S., like Indiana or something. And they were across from an elementary school, and with this 1022, she just started taking shots. Like, it was total sociopath behavior. And I remember thinking when I learned about it years ago, like when I was in high school, whatever, going, man, this is just kind of ridiculousness. Why would someone do that? And then the school shooters rise up, and that was just her doing sociopath behavior. But this girl, it seems like nowadays there tends to be a political alignment to school shooters.
So tell me, did this, I think this happened Monday?
Yeah, I think Monday.
I was at a funeral.
Yeah.
So I didn't really follow it. Did she was killed by police or herself?
No, she self-deleted.
So do we know, did she have a manifesto? I'm serious.
Yes.
Did she have?
So she wrote her manifesto on the Google Plus or whatever it's called, and forgot to unlock it. So it was in Wisconsin. I'm sorry I'm laughing about that. Her boyfriend had to go and unlock it for her. She wanted this manifesto to be out, but she forgot to unlock it. Google Drive. That's what it's called. And forgot to unlock it and make it open for search. So her boyfriend, a day or two later, went and did it, which is another weird thing. She had a boyfriend. And if I was her boyfriend and she did something like that, I don't know if I would unlock it if that's what she wanted. I would be mad that she's gone, mad that she did that, mad that she's, went after children. She went after elementary school children. I'd be mad as a rattlesnake.
I don't want to give her name. I don't want to give her any attention in that way. Do we know who she killed? Were they kids? Were they adults?
Yes, she killed, I think it was 2 little boys and a teacher. I'm not sure.
It says 2 were killed and 6 injured.
Okay. Yeah, a little boy and a teacher shot it. Yeah.
Now there's family who is mourning during Christmas, and I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine this being, something that gets into people's heads. And if it is political, why are you punishing kids? What did they do? These are innocents. The teachers are innocent. We do have the new rule that's kicking in, I believe, January, that where you'll have a non-uniform person in every school that is armed, and they will be on every campus, from what I understand. And if that's a job you want, I don't know what it pays, but I believe it goes through your sheriff's department, and those people are supposed to blend in. So they train, and they could be a janitor, they could be anyone. And the whole goal is to have someone trained, and hopefully trained within the school to know, if you have to engage in a firefight situation, where those bullets will go if they don't hit the victim. But all the billions of dollars that go out to foreign aid, I just sit back and go, why don't we take $1 billion and just put it towards security in our schools?
I often wonder what's the sickness in our culture that's causing this.
I used to think it was the trying to be famous, but since media has stopped publicizing these people's names and making them famous, thankfully,
now just girls do it.
Now girls. I mean,
boys quit doing it. So maybe that's the trick is the boys quit doing it. Well, you heard in China, there was a guy, China's had a rash of course they don't have mass shootings, they have mass stabbings. And there was a guy who ran over like 34 people with a car.
Somebody just did that in a Christmas market in Germany.
Really? What is going on with people? Why do you want to hurt other people like that? What could be going on?
It's got to be mental illness, right?
Mental illness, financial woes. I mean, we are in a place where everybody universally is dealing with different finances than they expected or planned for. I mean, unless you're ultra wealthy, but then you're probably dealing with it like, oh, hey, look at extra whatever.
But even if you're ultra wealthy, I know I spoke last Wednesday night with a group of people who work in insurance, and the CEOs and those insurance companies have had to level up security.
Oh, yeah.
And they're spending quite a bit of money on that because half our country thinks it's fine to execute a guy in the middle of the street in New York City because he works for an insurance company as a CEO. And what is happening to our culture where the potential shooter, allegedly, because this feels way too clean.
Luigi
feels way too clean. And part of me thinks if he was ugly,
I think it was a guy named Mario. Luigi's just the fall guy.
Either way, money is going towards security now. These CEOs and insurance companies, and our country is sick. They're sick to think that we should glorify this in any way.
Even before that, have you seen how much car insurance prices have gone up last year? Holy cow. It's like they just tacked on an extra, 20%. Didn't even think about it. Just like dump a bill in your lap. Like, oh, okay. And then health insurance is ridiculous.
Health insurance can't compete, though, through the different states. Car insurance, you should be able to buy nationwide. Same with life insurance. And our health insurance needs reform. That's for sure. If anything good comes out of this situation, I hope lawmakers are going to look at the way health insurance is distributed and restricted, and maybe they open it up so that it can be more competitive, more free market, and let them compete. But Obamacare just put the nail in the coffin for people. It was supposed to save every family $2,500, and it actually average raised every family that much.
Well, it did. And what it did is it opened it up. There were some good things that came out of the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. A couple of good things that came out of it was extension for kids first getting the Head Start. Yes, that's,
to 26.
But it helped out to cover a kid till they were 26.
Pre-existing conditions.
And some extra pre-existing conditions were mandatory. Some insurance carried them before, but it made them mandatory. But what it did is, one, the insurance companies wrote the bill. And I think that's something that I think Obama is going to, he's kind of had a flowery people remember him pleasantly. But I think in the future, when they write the history books, I don't think they will. I think they'll remember him for all the drone strikes, for the extrajudicial killings that he did, things like that. But
did you see Biden come out and said, we've had a scandal-free presidency. That's near impossible, but we did it.
But Obama said that too.
And I'm sorry, Obama had so many.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got Fast and Furious.
Yes.
Which even then, Fast and Furious was
turnover from Bush.
It was George Bush W's.
But he kept up.
He ramped up
his drone strikes. Hi, Christy.
Honestly, I think
Merry Christmas.
I think Fast and Furious was secretly, this is just me, conspiracy talk, guys. Let's do conspiracy talk. Gather around. We should turn the lights down.
Benghazi.
I actually think Fast and Furious was a play to turn the favored drug distribution in the U.S. over to a different cartel.
Okay.
Because all the Fast and Furious guns went to one cartel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get.
And they were all forced to, because guys would go in. This happened. Let's say you run a gun store in Arizona, and a guy comes in. He says, "I want to buy, 16 AR-15s," and you're like, "No, that's a little sketchy."
I thought these were fully auto.
No, semi-auto. And then the ATF tells you, no, you make that sale. And they all went to one cartel. So that sounds to me like Obama had decided, or not Obama, I should say the Justice Department had decided, or more than likely the State Department, which cartel they want to work with. And that cartel got armed.
So we got that. We got Benghazi. Then we had, Obama had his fair share. The drone strikes.
Obama, most deportations for any president ever.
Yeah, people forget that. He deported more people than Trump.
You've got the ACA. You've got the website set up for the ACA that was designed in a foreign country
and crashed,
failed to launch. You got a lot of, but all president. We've only had one truly good president. Do you remember his name?
Calvin Coolidge.
He's second best.
George Washington.
Nope.
What did George do that was bad?
George Washington?
Yeah.
Whiskey rebellion, whiskey tariff, whiskey taxes. Gave up.
He founded the nation.
Gave up veterans' lands to his rich buddies in.
Okay, sorry I asked. Who's your favorite? Who did?
William Henry Harrison.
Okay, enough.
He's the best president we've ever had.
Why does it say poisoned power on ours?
Oh,
it doesn't feel very.
I don't know.
Season Christmas.
That's it's because we've got this this little pass on thing, and I've got to figure out.
Well, now, okay, let's go into Biden. No scandals. There was no cocaine found in the White House. There was no.
So whose cocaine do you think it was?
It's a mystery. It wasn't until they started saying it might be the presses that they started getting mad, saying, no, it's not one of us. It's either Kamala's or Hunter's. You've got so much going on with the Biden administration. For him to say that, like, what exactly, where's his mind? Well, sorry, I didn't even say that, but who says that? You've got the pipeline blown up in Russia that he said he was going to do. And then it happened. And then he's like, oh, it wasn't me. Okay. Did you just see, though, the report came out that 23 informants, FBI informants, were there on January 6th?
Yes.
And additional 3 were supposed to stay on people.
Well,
and then more went into the Capitol.
What they
said. Not one of them charged.
What they said
Yay,
was that
government.
All but 3.
I think it was 26
were involved
total.
in committing criminal actions.
Absolutely. Not one charged. Well, they weren't FBI. Oh, okay. They were informants. They were being paid by the FBI. And who was the jackass that was getting everybody excited and refused to go into the Capitol?
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah,
my money's on him being one of them.
When they started going fed.
Yeah.
Christy says Hunter forgot where he left his stuff again. How wild would it be if you found out it wasn't Hunter's?
Yeah, well, the fact that they didn't find fingerprints, the fact that even if they did and they did find fingerprints, they wouldn't announce whose it was.
I mean, the fact they didn't look for fingerprints?
Probably.
Very hard, that they didn't dig in deep.
So with Trump, right now it's a cluster in DC because they're trying to get all these budgets passed.
They're trying to do some craziness, yes.
The United States government is selling all the border wall that was purchased by us, the taxpayers, under the Trump administration, and they're selling it for pennies on the dollar.
That's
at auction.
Crazy too.
And here's Trump trying to get that sale from going through. And Texas's lieutenant governor said, we'll spend $1 billion on it now. I'm saying, maybe companies should stand up and go, no one bids on it.
It's crazy. It is crazy. But
It's Looney
These
Tunes.
companies are probably,
They're probably going to buy it, turn around and sell it back. And this is our money. Our tax dollars got spent to sit there for 4 years and rot. And now at the last minute, they're trying to sell it to companies for pennies on the dollar. Our property, the United States taxpayers footing the bill, when they could use portions of that to start building the wall again.
Well, I've said before, I'm not a fan of the wall. I think the wall is, I think if you deal with the welfare state and how the welfare state is doled out to everyone, and especially immigrants, and that, I think you don't need a wall. I think a wall would just be a hindrance. I think it would be something that is unneeded.
Let's patrol it with drones then.
We don't even need to patrol
Armed
it.
drones. Why?
You don't, because if you deal with the welfare state, if you manage that to where, and that's how you keep illegals from coming in. Now, the drug side, the wall would probably help with the drug side, but it's not going to stop the drugs. They're still going to get here. The wall isn't going to change that.
I still think we need a wall. We need some barrier. We need something. Because there's not enough people to patrol all the time.
I don't think you need to patrol it.
The fentanyl deaths in this country are so high. That alone, large shipments of fentanyl.
Sure. We need to figure out what is going on in our country that's causing this.
They're coming across the border.
Yeah, sure. They're coming across and just like they did with cocaine in the 80s and the 90s, why is there this surge of drug abuse? It seems like in the 90s, drug abuse had gone down quite a bit. So what were we doing right?
I don't think so. Meth labs were everywhere, and they were right here in our country.
Well, meth labs really kicked up in the 2000s.
I'm telling you, the 90s through the first 10 years of 2000, yes. And that 20-year span.
Yes. I mean, meth literally took over then because it was the cheapest alternative.
And you could make it at home, products from home. You didn't have to wait for shipments to come across the border.
The Nazi method, they'd make it in the trunk of a car. Now they've got a new method that takes a couple hours and all you need is a Gatorade bottle.
What is so messed up also is any foreign country to own any piece of the United States soil. It's just wrong.
That is true.
Christy, I wonder, with all the debt the United States is in, what is the collateral on that debt? I wonder if it's United States soil.
Well, let's have a chat with Tricky Dick. Why did he go in and nationalize all of the land that wasn't already privately owned when he took us off the gold standard? Someone break that one down for me.
I think that, my hope is that Trump gets in and he just rips the Band-Aid off. And I hope the American people are prepared for what may come of that, because it's going to be hard. I mean, look how many are employed by the federal government right now. It's the number one employer in this nation. And if they decide to cut the government, which is what voters wanted, then there's going to be a lot of people looking for work.
Like 53% of the voters want it.
53, mandate.
We're just in a wild time. We got to lean on the 10th Amendment. Let's have some states be this low trust, ultra left-wing society and let them do it. Let them figure out what works and what doesn't. Let the homeless and the people who commit burglaries, let them have a place to go.
That's California now.
And then, California, New York,
So let's build a wall around California.
But let's allow other states. Nevada will be a state of controlled debauchery. It'll have prostitution on one hand, but like kind of heavy law enforcement application on the other. So you can be debaucherous, but you're going to do it inside of our restrictive lines. And then
it's illegal in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's illegal in Las Vegas. It's legal in Nye County and
Carson.
That's in Nye, I think. Nye County. But it's illegal in most of it. There's like 2 or 3 counties where it's legal. And so, and then you'll have Utah, which will be kind of a weird theocratic state, and Texas will be this rebellious cowboy venture state, and Idaho will be its own little kind of state. And
Be
then
like
you'll have
Utah.
Wyoming, who keeps its mouth shut and does it right. I keep emphasizing nobody knows the governor of Wyoming's name. That is a positive. And
I don't know. I think you nailed it when you said the welfare state. We need reform. And when you start doing immigration reform, you got to start right there, that they're not given any taxpayer dollars just because they come here. And I think what Trump's trying to do also is to eliminate natural born citizenship if they have a child here, because that is mainly a goal. A lot of pregnant women try to make it across the border so they can give birth in America and give birth to a natural born citizen.
Sure. I don't blame them. I would.
Yeah. And that's one of those things where you get around it, and that child then becomes right to get that welfare and all of that. So I think if we stop that, where just because you're born in a country, it's not like that anywhere else.
Birthright citizenship needs to be ended. I would make it so that, let's say that the child's parents are here on a green card, and they have a child here. I'd give them some kind of special status, like a pink card. That means, if they do decide to try to become a citizen, maybe it's 50% off or something. I don't give them a coupon,
or maybe they get to the front of the line or something.
Yeah, the middle of the front of the line,
because they're born here.
But we need to start being very selective on who we let immigrate. We've had this constant push of our immigration being these low status workers the whole time, which puts harder pressure on the people in this country who have it the hardest, the lower income people. We need to make it so we have a competitive immigration. Like when the average Indian comes over, you're taking someone who is educated, who's competitive in tech or in medical. And we need to keep that going,
And it's their family culture. That is the same with Asian cultures, from Japan, China, Korea or Taiwan. These cultures come over. It's a part of their culture to be motivated and self-sufficient and 100%. Independent. And their cultures are exceptional as far as success and competition.
Yeah.
And we should be looking to.
They don't bring extra crime with them. They don't come and take over apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado. We need to. We need to start
take care of their families.
Yeah, and they clean up their neighborhoods. Yeah. They take care but we need to start being more selective on our immigration. So I think we should open up an immigration status that says, look, we need more coders. We need more engineers. And if you have that background in the country of origin, we will fast track you. We'll set it up so that you are fast tracked in. We call it out, you apply, and we'll pull from that pool. And if you're outside of that, then, chances are a lot lower.
So now that Syria is not run by an evil dictator,
Bashar al-Assad,
why are all the transplants all across Europe not being sent back to rebuild their nation? I mean, these transplants are all over Germany and England and France, and they were all, refugees.
It's almost
why not get them back in their country?
For a different reason.
Yeah.
Like to destroy a nation. I don't know. So George Soros once said,
that's a great way to start a sentence.
I don't know. That's all I can think is that seriously, Syria and Libya all feel like a plan to me, just like Iraq and Afghanistan feel like a plan to me. They feel, not to go conspiracy weirdo, but it all feels like a plan, like there was a goal behind it.
No kidding.
Like
But
we
why didn't
wanted
the
to,
United States leave with some oil after
because it
going
wasn't
there so that they could pay for the liberation of
it
those
wasn't about
nations?
giving us oil.
I know
It
that,
was
but
about
maybe it should have
giving
been.
Dick Cheney a bigger stock market push through
Yeah, right.
Halliburton.
Well, if we were going to rebuild a nation we destroyed, why not use the resources that are in that nation that we spilled blood in that nation over? Why didn't we come back with some oil in order to fund the rebuild?
I don't know. Maybe someone did, but remember,
Not that I wanted to go there in the first place.
ladies and gentlemen, look deep into my eye. Our government is not there for your well-being.
I'm looking deep into your glass eye.
That's what it is. Our government is not there for your well-being. Our government does not care about your prosperity. Our government does not. People wonder why I'm anti-government. This is exactly why. And I'm sorry to say that even the government that was just elected does not care about your well-being. We need to watch them. The one good thing about Donald Trump is Donald Trump came out on a message that he wants America to be prosperous. And so he's going to do that for his name. So his name goes down in the history books.
I don't know. I think he's doing it for his grandkids too.
Could be, but his grandkids are going to benefit regardless. His grandkids, when you're rich, you're not a national citizen.
It takes one generation to blow that, though.
But you're international. Once you reach that, you're international.
Well, Trump is probably the most famous person on the planet.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that.
Hands down, especially after his first go around. David says, government loves you.
Well, this is the thing, is they don't. And when you get people like, you get Democrats and you get Republicans, and they're all having a tissy up in DC right now, because whatever Trump's going to do, he didn't say he's going to eliminate the national debt. What he did say is he is going to make America prosperous again. He's going to bring manufacturing back. He's going to keep the tax cuts lower, secure the border, mass deportations, all these things he did say he was going to do. Those things are going to cost money.
What do you think about the arguments over the tariffs that seem to be boiling up right now?
I think that I'd like to see, because I personally won't buy a vehicle if it's got this huge strap of tax on it because it's a foreign vehicle. If it's built in the United States, that's the vehicle I will shop for. And that's because I don't have disposable income that I can just throw out at whatever. If that means that every product from China, which all of us are used to, if every product from China is so much more expensive, then what's the point? Let's shop from American companies and save money.
Is it better that we have some artificial austerity imposed on us? I just wonder about this. See, here's a couple thoughts I have. So over the last 40 years, we have built later. Yep, Dave keeps bringing it back to that. We have built since we've given up our major manufacturing stranglehold that we had on the world after World War II, we've built up where the only status that carries and counts in anything you do is a college education. And so every business is seeing this. Everyone knows someone is brought in as a supervisor because they have a degree.
Right.
And they don't necessarily have experience or the capability to manage that job aside from that degree. And then you've got the guys who work their way up kind of act like a cadre that keep the actual nuts and bolts going. But as we move into manufacturing, we're going to have to relearn the lessons that was learned during the second industrial revolution, where guys who learned how to operate equipment, learned how to build stuff, learned how to tweak stuff, need to carry more importance. And the guys with the degrees, we're going to have to kind of back off of them being your supervisors and managers and them having
I think companies are doing that. I think companies are taking a step back from their degree requirement. At least what I see on LinkedIn, they're looking for people with experience.
Yeah, I'm hoping they
that
start doing that. Mine hasn't.
But the thing is our nation should head that way anyway. We need to have people who have skills.
Well, and you need to advance those people, and you need to prioritize those people, and you need to give those people a benefit.
If we're going to have manufacturing brought back to the United States, now we've got jobs for young people just graduating from high school. Maybe people who are older, people who are sponsored. These companies, these manufacturing companies, should be able to sponsor immigration and be responsible to provide jobs and make sure that these immigrants are reporting in every day. And I think the reform of immigration should be done bottom to top, all the way around. And there should be a sponsorship if it's a church, if it's a company. And I do believe it should be fair around the world. The United States should not be everybody's guard and protector. And if we are, we should be paid fairly for it. If we're going to stay in this this treaty, to where, I mean, we're so close to World War III, just depending on what Russia does. Russia right now is in control. If they decide to send people into a NATO country, which is right along their border or close to their border, then America has to decide where we act. And do we want to participate in the start and launch of World War III any more than we already have?
It's an interesting thing. Dave says, okay. All right. Trigger warning, everyone. Labor camps are the way of the future for illegals to pay us back for their airfare. All right, Dave. I like the idea, but I don't like the idea of having labor camps, which makes labor less available for those who need to get jobs.
Hi, David. Yes. Merry Christmas to you and your beautiful wife.
Yes. And tell your wife Dozer says hi. Dozer is sitting right.
Yeah, they're Dozer.
Right here. David says, why can't we have a global economy? That was the Bretton Woods deal that was made during World War II that we have kind of we've been backing out of since after Bush got us involved in the Middle East. The U.S. is like, we're done with this.
There's tariffs on the U.S. to even sell our products in Europe or China. They've got tariffs on us, so let's just make it fair.
That was a deal we made with them. Where we could, after World War II, when we were the only industrial power left that didn't get shelled, that's why we rose to dominance, because we didn't get bombed. And so we made that deal with the world, and the biggest thing was we had a lot of destroyers out on the ocean, keeping trade open, keeping piracy away. And we've kind of gone away from that. And not just in an isolationist way, but also in a militaristic way. When we started building more aircraft carriers in adverse to building more destroyers and battleships, we went away from the piracy thing. And aircraft carriers, not ideal to deal with piracy. It's really not.
When we are spending $900 billion in our Pentagon, and other countries aren't even coming close.
Is that how much we're building? Did they finally get a count?
That's what, so far, I believe, was the cost. But other countries can't even get even close to that.
The next 13.
So how do you have a global economy when one country is spending so much money on protection for the globe, and yet our businesses aren't welcomed? The taxes in other countries are put on our businesses, and there's tariffs put on our businesses. So if it was a free market world, then yeah, let's get in cahoots. But then you've got far different thinking governments as well. How do you have a global economy when in certain countries they don't have even freedom? The women aren't even considered free. They're considered property in some of these countries.
Makes you wonder if this next upcoming industrial revolution is going to be the one that makes it a actual global economy.
I know that's the dream for the deep state, right?
Well, maybe it's a dream for everyone. I think it's the internet offers that availability. You know,
I think you got to fix your own country first.
we're going through it. Well, not always.
No, because our country is going to be responsible for a lot of these third world countries.
Many countries die. Many countries at the top of their game die. Great Britain died in World War I. They just didn't know it yet.
Yeah. Well, war is a hell of a killer.
Yes,
of countries. And it's hell of a profitable for others. So when the United States makes more money off of war than, say, I don't know, the Congo, for example, you can't have a global economy.
Maybe.
Because there's always going to be the doers and you're going to have the takers.
I just wonder what
countries are a necessity, David.
What the future holds for us.
Until we can get in one mind that human rights are everybody's, there's no way to share, honestly, because how do you work with a country that treats women as products and children as workers?
Hey.
I mean, there's child slavery in a lot of these countries, and there's also women who are completely living in danger, not able to be educated, all of that. I just think that you absolutely need to have kind of at least an even playing field, or the United States is going to be the one that is making the decisions,
I like what Dave
spending
says.
the money.
Maybe countries are no longer a necessity.
I get that, but don't you see what I mean?
I do. And we don't know what the future holds, because remember, in the early 1800s, they couldn't imagine countries really being a thing. Well, okay, I should say the late 1700s, because really Napoleon was the first to make a kind of a nationalism on a country ideal.
But England had already created territories all over the world.
And England did that through private organizations. The East India Company wasn't a government organization. England did that through kind of private, kind of it was mercantilism. Yeah, war,
guns. Again, we have nations all around us don't even believe guns is a right. They believe it's a privilege and only for hunting, and the government controls.
And that's why.
And you cannot have.
We can't be conquered.
Rome had already made its place in all over the world.
Okay, for anyone,
they still have territories.
Anyone out there want to tell me what Rome was?
Why don't you just tell us?
Rome was a city.
Yes, but it was also an empire
that had people that were lesser Romans that weren't in the city. And if you served Rome, then you could possibly have some land in the city. All right, Katie's home. Dozer wants out. Dozer, say goodbye to everyone. Say bye, everyone.
She did so good.
I know she did.
Such a good baby.
Her gate fell on her earlier. Heartbreaking, isn't it?
Hi, Fred. Merry Christmas.
Hey, what's up, Fred? We need to go have breakfast sometime soon, Fred. We need to. Yeah, a republic. Yeah, Rome is a republic. Where did Fred's comment go? It disappeared. Yeah, I don't know. That's
weird.
I still want to see. I want to see the 10th Amendment come true and let states kind of figure out how they want to do it. I mean, we might find magic. I mean, we might find a state that does like Heinlein's Republic. We might find a state that does, Marxism. Yes, ham and eggs, Fred. We need to go grab some breakfast soon. Probably have to wait till after Christmas just because, late stage republic like us. Problem is, after republic, generally you get to empire. Are we an empire or are we still a republic? We are an oligarchy, which is the kickoff to the empire when you're an oligarchy, because you become an empire to control the oligarchs. Happens every time. Makes me wonder. So, I don't know. What else you guys want to talk about? We've rambled on. This is all high level. Me and Fred are going to go.
You would never get I don't think you would ever get a global interest in a republic ideal where people are given their inalienable rights to speech, to gun rights, to fair trials and all of that. You would not, because you're competing in a lot of those Muslim countries against a religion and a faith. That's why I say fix it at home, and maybe we bring in our arms and come back home and not be the army of the world, and let's see what countries come to our side is a way to, I don't know, become a territory of the United States, and let's expand the United States. I still think it would be great to make Mexico and Canada states. Or territories.
How about Trump calling Trudeau Governor Trudeau of the great state of Canada?
Right?
Did you see that? I fell out. That was a great. Trudeau is they're calling for him to resign. His own party is now.
Yeah, he's up in it.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. We'll have to see how this tariff thing works out. It'd be nice if the U.S. would figure out how to lower their regulations so we could become more competitive. Regulations is the death. The reason India has never been a global power, even though it's had the technology, it's had the numbers of people, it's had the kind of the drive nationally, but it's because they go back to this ancient religion that had the Brahmins, which were your bureaucrat class. So they were worshipped. Bureaucrats were the religious elite of their country. And so now, I mean, in India, it's a bureaucracy to do anything. China has what are they called? Why am I forgetting the word? The Mandarins. The Mandarins was a bureaucratic class that you would test to become a government employee, and it was all important. And that is honestly is what's going to stop China from becoming the next world power, is that their bureaucratic class, and which is why Marxism has been relatively successful there. Even though they liberalized their markets, it's still a Marxist one-party state. And so it's because they've got a legalist identity, culture, and yeah, I don't know. Have we talked about mass deportation yet this evening? No, we haven't.
We haven't got into we talked about Trump's plan and how that will cost money. So we have to be prepared for that. We probably won't see a large bounce or a lot of money go down as a deficit. However, we do need to hire more border workers and ICE agents who, if we want this mass deportations to happen, we're going to need investigation. We're going to need to find these people. There's still 300,000 to 500,000 kids missing.
Yeah, okay. Here's my call on that. And Vivek is the one who put this best.
It's Vivek.
Like cake. Yes. Anyways, I always get it wrong, but he's still my favorite guy in politics. He says you just shut off welfare, shut off the benefits to them. They will self-deport. And then you just hunt down the criminals. And I want to add to it. If you are a part of a rink that has been kidnapping children, I say we build a lot of swing sets. And that's it. Yeah, but then a decrease of spending must happen elsewhere. What do you mean a decrease of spending? Break it down for me. Because, I mean, if we just cut off any welfare benefits to anyone who is not a U.S. citizen. That means you don't get a hotel, you don't get the free food. They will self-deport. They'll go home on their own.
Imagine if we opened up mental health facilities where we got a lot of our homeless off the street, the citizens, and the veterans, and we make them a veterans mental care facility. Where,
no, I don't want the VA anywhere near that.
No,
they will screw it up. The VA
it's a version,
the
and so
VA
you
will
can
go
stop.
in
I'm
for
not saying the
lobotomies
VA. I'm saying a specific care place for the veteran homeless to go and get mental health if they need it, but from other veterans. And then you get the families, and then you get the single women and the single men, and there's drug treatment and all. But there are some people who want to be homeless and they don't want to be on the grid and all of that. But you cut off buying hotels for undocumented.
Yeah, for anyone who is.
And none of this airplane crap. You put them on buses. You put them on prison buses, and you just take them across the border and drop them off. You're not flying in first class into different countries. Let the South America figure out where they go, because we can't verify where they're even from. And a lot of them were released out of prisons in different countries. And I know Mexico can find places for them, because Mexico doesn't tolerate illegal immigration at all, especially from those other countries.
Yep. Fred says, I don't care, but federal cuts should happen even if we didn't need to spend on deportation. Yeah, we need
Absolutely. We did discuss this, Fred, where we're going to have to cut our government in half. If you cut the government employees that are on the payroll in half, you're going to piss off a lot of people in the country, because they are the biggest employer in the country.
I think, in half the first 3 months, so that you don't overwhelm the bread lines, and then continue cuts after that. We need a lean and mean government. Give the states options to open up offices that mirror that. If personnel from their state want to continue their government service, they can do it on a state by state basis, and then let the 10th Amendment and democratically elected republicanism on the state level make that decision.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing where we're going to see cuts happen with a $900 billion budget going to the military. Trump isn't going to want to scrimp on the military. If anything, he wants to rebuild our military and refocus all of the stuff that's gone over to Ukraine. If we put a stop right there on what's going to Ukraine, or any foreign country for that matter, that should free up some money right there, because Biden's trying to get every last penny out there. All of this will reflect poorly on Donald Trump. When he gets in office, he's coming in with such a deficit, especially the spending that's already being divvied out to all these places in the 12th hour. So
what if Fred says a focus on illegal aliens who've committed crimes is an excuse to narrow the deportation and slow the process? A blanket deportation of all of them should commence. But what if, hear me out, guys. So Texas is rather well known for how it has a speedy process for dealing with those who are put on capital punishment. What if we let states sign on whether they want illegals who commit heinous and or violent or crimes of a sexual nature, if they allow Texas to try them, and maybe they pay them a stipend, and then we allow that to be the message, is that mess around in Georgia and we will extradite you to Texas, where you will be tried and you will be managed the Texas way. Just a thought. Maybe I don't even like that thought, but it's just a thought.
I think when we become energy independent, that's another thing. We lift regulations. I think we should start opening up some BLM land to let people purchase, American citizens purchase, maybe for housing.
BLM shouldn't have any land. It's unconstitutional. It should go back to the states. It should go back to the states.
Absolutely.
The Enclave Act lays that out clearly.
but the country has borrowed against it. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that our loans that we've gotten from other countries probably have land attached to them as collateral. Because what else would there be for collateral?
I say let them come try to collect.
Well, and our interest every single day is absolutely astounding. It's astounding. And I don't know how we'll ever be able to turn it around or to change. Maybe if the United States starts producing something or starts charging other countries for the protections that they receive from us, or if we just pull out of NATO altogether and just focus our own attention on the United States. I don't know if that's a smart move, but I'm curious. And we have 900 billion in our military. That's more than like the top countries combined.
The next 13.
Yeah, combined.
Yeah, the next 13 combined. Anyways, I don't know. That's probably about the show there.
What are you talking about?
It's been an hour.
Yeah, but Fred just got here. We can't just leave now. He's got some great points.
Yes,
and I always love Fred.
Federal property. I know. We need more Fred. And I think, I don't know. Oh. I like that. Yes, get out and face the muzzle of our guns if you want U.S. property. Honestly, it needs to be turned back over to the states. As raw a deal as Richard Nixon got when he kind of got framed, which is what I truly believe, he was still a part of the globalist drive where he nationalized all kind of open lands as collateral when he took us off the gold standard. And it wasn't his fault. I mean, it's every president before him kept spending the gold, the Federal Reserve. Why do we have that? Because we entrusted them with the gold.
And who are they?
Yeah.
Not one of them's elected. No one tells them what to do. Yeah. Why do we need a Federal Reserve?
We don't. But I mean, if you're going to vote, you want to do it on the 21st of December, where everyone is home. And then you have a vote on something that huge. Then when no one's there. And then it's argued in the Supreme Court forever after. And it's how many justices were threatened with their lives to get that considered constitutional? I don't know. It's all crooked.
The Federal Reserve?
It's all heinous. The Federal Reserve Act, yes.
I think it's crazy. I think it's very crazy that we haven't fixed our tax system to make it very easy to do. We haven't rewritten it so that it's fair for rich and poor, and that it's a simple, yes, we should all pay taxes because that's what the country needs in order to function, but more going back to the states and more control in the states, and the federal government should be funded to protect people's Social Security that they've already paid into, to protect the nation as a whole. And I don't know, let's combine some of these FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, all these protection agencies. Let's weed out and combine into one agency with different departments.
What if you just had
TSA,
one federal law enforcement that was there to aid and support local law enforcement in their investigations? They would be a go-between, like let's say you had a sheriff in Utah and a sheriff in Texas that were dealing with the same bad guy. And this federal agencies are like, yes, we will be a good go-between. We'll be a repository, if you will, for information you need to share with each other. And but yeah, what if, because we're not the only economy that's hurting. We're the one that's doing the best. Everyone drink that in for a minute.
Yeah, even the worst of us.
We're doing the best. Our economy, national or globally, is doing the best. I mean, Europe is collapsing. Everywhere's collapsing. China's collapsing. India never grew up to collapse, but everywhere's collapsing. what if something new's being born? What if we're on the cusp of a new thing, something new coming out, some new design, internet-based economy where that's the wrong way to say it, but I don't know. I always look to history and this reminds me a lot of the Protestant Reformation and the Gutenberg press and all of that. India only answers my phone. That is right. India is the ultimate service economy.
Well, it's sad because that's where most of the hackers come from.
Yeah.
But then try having a problem with Netflix on time, and that's where their call center is.
You know, it's the same call center.
What? You want me to give you my credit card because someone's hacked into my Netflix, and can I speak to someone in America? And they're like, no, ma'am, sorry. Netflix's call center is in India. And I'm just like, I don't want to be that person. I want to be kind. But every person I've ever talked to that's trying to sell me on my warranty or telling me that someone's hacked my Amazon account or whatever, they're all from a call center in India.
Well, it's funny, they run like China. So from this hour to this hour, they're a call center. And then after that, they're a hacker center. Like China will build laptops for a legitimate company or an American company, Hewlett Packard, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But after 8 p.m., they build Vizios on the same line with the same equipment and same everything else. And it's written into their contracts. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, let's talk about, I don't want to be done yet. I want to talk about.
I want to go eat.
You owe me till 8, bro.
Till 8?
We are a 2-hour podcast. And look how much engagement we have right now. Right. I want to say, what's everybody doing for Christmas? Is everybody getting together with family? I know this will be the first Christmas that my youngest brother will be living somewhere else. And so that's kind of sad, but I get to be with my mom. So I'm very excited about that.
Yes. Yeah.
How about you? What's your plan?
I was scheduled to work, but they are shutting the plant down. So
can they do that? Your plant can go.
Yeah, they shut it down for 12 hours.
So it's not like Kennecott where you can't.
Yeah, no, we don't have like a refinery that's remains hot, but we might keep it hot just to, I don't know. So far, the plan is they're going to shut it down for like 11 hours or 12 hours. And then, we're going to Katie's aunt's house where we will eat food and then we will come home.
Are you going to go to your grandma's? And
I usually go to grandma's on Christmas Day.
Okay, that's what I was referring to. Yeah. You're doing Christmas Eve too?
Or is it Christmas Eve? I don't know. Something like that. But yeah, of course I go to grandma's and dad's, and I've got siblings galore, and
you go the running
nieces
around?
And nephews. And yeah, Fred says he gets scanned more from Bronx, New York than anywhere.
That's OAC. She's just trying to get money for her next run.
Is she in the Bronx?
Oh no, maybe I'm thinking of Jennifer Lopez, Jenny from the block. We usually do Christmas Eve with my mom and dad, and we do the Polar Express. That's my husband's favorite. And then we have Christmas breakfast. My children have never gotten up at the crack and ripped presents open. Since they were born, we've always had a Christmas tradition that my dad and my parents would come over and we'd do Christmas breakfast at like 10 a.m. and they would get to open presents after breakfast. So they don't even get up early. We usually have to wake them up to have breakfast on Christmas. Whereas I was the kid and my brothers and we would come down the second and the sun wasn't even up yet and we'd be opening. But the reason I didn't like it is because Christmas was over so fast. You know, that anticipation. And so as I a little older and my dad remarried, we had to wait till our grandpa got there at 8:30 or so, and he got the camera out and filmed us, and then we get to open our presents, and that waiting was so exciting. So my kids are so used to not opening gifts until after breakfast. Hi, Eric. Merry Christmas, friend. Look at these people we have joining the Christmas show. But a lot of, I think that this year for Christmas, there's a lot of people who are financially really just hanging on. And so I know it's going to be a light Christmas for a lot of people. And I think that these are the Christmases we remember, I think, the most. And so you make the most out of what you can and don't feel bad, just, Christmases should be about, like I said, no day is promised. And it should be about spending time with the people you love and just being together with people. And I haven't even thought about what we're cooking for Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Fred says, what's for dinner, Jared? My 5 kids are there. 12 kids are all at our house tomorrow for a Christmas party and dinner. I bought my $82 prime rib to cook for Christmas Day. Is it a prime rib roast? And are you smoking it?
And $82, is that enough to feed 20 people? Or is that just for you and the wife? Like, how much meat do you get for $82? Now I got to know.
Yeah.
And how you're cooking it. Because if you're smoking it.
Yeah, 100% agree.
About light Christmases.
Yeah. Yes. It does feel like we've made Christmas into a buy presents for everyone thing, when I think I would like to see us go back to more caroling. Christmas is about
family.
I'm eating Chinese food
on nice.
Christmas. Nice. Yes. He said he'll look. You'll look. What do you mean? You'll look at
Eric, you're going to have duck. How many it'll feed?
But you got to go with the bupkisses. That's a deep dive right there.
You're talking Christmas Story. That was my fa-ra-ra-ra-ra.
I know, the bupkisses. Yes.
Okay, wait. What's everybody's favorite Christmas movie? Mine is
Die Hard.
Mine is definitely Christmas Vacation, just because
that's a good one.
That was a favorite. I know every word to it, and it was my dad's favorite.
Cousin Eddie.
We watch it every year. But I'm curious, what's everybody's favorite Christmas movie?
That's who I dressed up. I dressed up as Cousin Eddie during last year's Christmas party.
Oh, that's so funny.
My family's Christmas party. Yeah, wore the robe and the hat.
The shitter's full. Cat might have had 9 lives. He just spent them all
out there drinking a beer, smoking a cigar.
I like when he's like, "Hey kids, the news just reported a sighting of Santa over New York," and yet he's like, "You serious, Clark?"
Mine. Well, okay. Die Hard is definitely a Christmas movie. That is not an arguable.
I don't know. It doesn't get me in the spirit.
It does me. It does me. Hans Gruber falling off from the building gets me in the spirit. But mine would have to be A Christmas Story. Yeah.
Just Friends.
Oh, yes. Okay, 6.32 pounds prime rib roast for 8 people on Christmas. Oh,
6 pounds for $85.
That's about right for a prime rib roast. Polar Express coming in hot from your mom. Yeah, that's
my husband too.
That's a good one. If especially if you got kids, you can sit down and really enjoy it.
That's a fun one. We watch it in our movie theater, and it's so nice. And it's everybody snuggles up, and we have snacks.
White Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know what that one is. Is that like an old musical dancing one? Okay.
So Christmas Story, we've already mentioned. Yep. My kids like to watch Home Alone. They've always liked that one.
Outstanding.
I do like Die Hard, but I don't, it's not on my list. I love Elf. My kids have always loved Elf. And if you haven't seen it, Fred, with your grandkids, if you haven't seen Klaus on Netflix, It's an animated Christmas movie. It is so cute. And the first time we watched it, it came out a few years ago, but that one has become a classic with my kids and I. Klaus, Klaus. And it's kind of the story of how Santa started moving his presents around, and it's so cute. Have you seen it?
No.
You have Netflix?
Yes.
It's cute. Watch it with your nephew and your niece.
Okay.
So you're baking it in. Oh, my mom says, she says Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. That's actually mentioned in A Christmas Vacation. But if you get a chance with your nephew and niece, look up Klaus. It's super, super cute.
Okay.
And my family and I just watched Red One. It's on Prime now. So if you have Prime, and it's got The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and the guy who's Captain America in it. And it's essentially a movie about saving Santa, but it was really good. I mean, once you get in the mindset that you can save Santa and that, The Rock is serious about it, and he's like Santa's number one bodyguard guy. It's a really cute show.
All right.
So I think that should be on your list. So, okay, if you're going to bake a prime rib, I have to know, how do you get it to be medium rare in the center? Like, how long do you bake it?
Roll it hot, 300 degrees, have a
And
steam
how
tray
long?
in with it.
And Fred, I got to know, what is your seasoning for it? And do you make au jus sauce? And do you have not sauerkraut? What's the hot stuff that's so good? Horseradish. Do you have like legit hot horseradish? Because my mouth is watering. Mom, we need to make a prime rib.
Yeah, and they're good. And those, you get it's easy. You go to Walmart, you get the gold package, boom, done and done.
But I'm just curious because my husband likes medium well. I think that's a crime. Medium rare,
but that's where he gets an edge.
Ends,
yeah.
Right.
And what you do is you take mustard. Here's the trick. You take mustard, lather it in mustard, and then sprinkle on, I like Montreal steak seasoning.
I can't put mustard on prime rib.
The mustard evaporates. It is a bonding agent for whatever seasoning you put on there. The mustard disappears. It goes away.
Fred, what do you do over yours?
David's saying horseradish.
David likes the Gremlins.
Oh, Gremlins is a good one.
Merry Christmas, Eric. Thank you for tuning in.
Now, did you guys hear about this news? In Turkey, there's been a archaeological expedition at the Church of St. Nicholas in Dimre, Turkey, and they believe they may have found the tomb of St. Nicholas. This news came out just on the 18th.
His sarcophagus?
Yes. Yeah. So St. Nicholas was a real guy. He was a
340s.
Yeah.
BC. Right?
Yeah. No, AD.
AD.
Yes. He was a Christian saint. He's the saint of wayward young ladies. He's also the saint of orphans and other things. But he lived in a town that was kind of a rough town to live in. And he was kind of a wealthy priest guy. And he would drop off coins in shoes and socks, apparently, was the old story. But
in their clogs.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they had clogs in Turkey.
No, but in Holland, that's what they would do.
Yeah, Turkey's a little bit south of Holland.
But it obviously carried the tradition around the world.
Well, yeah, St. Nicholas.
I don't like, the Turkish officials have admitted for years, if they can prove St. Nicholas is buried there, tourism will gain big momentum. So do you think they'll really find it, or do you think they'll make sure they find something?
I don't know. They could. I mean, he was a real person, and that was his chapel that he ran. He was a wealthy guy. Turkey's interesting. Just the Göbekli Tepe. I could go on for hours about that. And there's one a little further east of that. That's, I mean, it rewrites human history, but
so my mother also said Christmas Chronicle is a cute movie too. I loved Christmas Chronicle. That was super cute. That's got Kurt Russell and he plays Santa.
Okay.
And even his wife is, they're not married, him and Goldie Hawn.
No, they've just been together forever.
But she's got a little part in it too. The second one, I think, is terrible. But the first one is awesome.
I haven't seen it.
Fred says, oh, hell, Holly, my wife cooks that. Dear God, with all the questions.
You need a smoker.
We don't do horseradish. Well, that is sad because horseradish is one of my favorite things.
Horseradish is good on summer sausage.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I love horseradish on most things, but I also love other things. I mean, I love hot mustard, and I also love wasabi. I think those all kind of come from the same root. So,
well, not the same root.
The same type of hot.
Well, horseradish and wasabi are both a root. Most of the wasabi you get stateside in your
mouth watering?
Yeah,
because mine's watering talking about this.
I know your lesser sushi joints is horseradish. It's colored green.
It's paste, yeah.
But but horseradish, I like a raw horseradish when I go to a steakhouse where they've got the creamy stuff, which is but I like the raw gritty. My
favorite thing is to get raw and the creamy, mix it into my au jus sauce, and dip my prime rib in it. It is heaven. I love prime rib.
Yes.
And you're saying they sell prime rib at Walmart?
Yeah, it'll be as you walk down it'll be in the center thing. It's in gold wrapping.
How long? You say you cook it 300? What about smoking it?
When I smoke it, now I usually go rare. And if Grandma Jane's coming over, I'll throw a little skinny steak in there early and I'll smoke her a steak because she needs her stuff damned. Like it needs to be charcoal.
Yeah, my husband just likes it all zapped out, all the flavor.
I go rare. What I do, it depends on the ambient temperature outside when I smoke too, how long it takes. But it usually takes about 2.5, 3 hours. I go by temperature. I have a thermometer I stick in it. And I go for prime rib, I go to 135. And then it's done.
135 for how long?
Till it reaches 135, and then it's
done. The temperature. I thought you meant
you get a probe.
Cook it at 135.
I've got some Bluetooth
I'm
probes.
like, that would take you forever.
Oh no, I cook it at however fast it'll go. And then turkey, I go.
Fred says you'll ruin it by smoking it.
No, you will not.
And Dave says it's really horse meat. Bless you, Dave.
I'll tell you what, I could do horse meat in the smoker and it'd be great. And then prime rib, turkey, after having it out of my smoker, if you pull it out of an oven, I've got to kind of hold my nose because the smoker makes magical turkey. It's the only way
So I have a smoker. I just need someone to walk me through the process because I would love to make a prime rib.
Okay.
I'd love to be able to afford to make a prime rib. And where do I get raw horseradish from?
Raw, you can buy it in a bottle.
You can buy it. You just don't have it at the place where you just grate it.
I'm sure there is a place, but I mean, you buy it in a bottle. It'll be like it around where they have the condom.
Is it super hot? Because I like it hot.
You can probably get it super hot.
So is the au jus just the drippings?
Yes. And
there's nothing else you need to add to it to make it au jus? Because au jus isn't like gravy. It's
not usually. No, it's just the drippings. But you can.
Dave says it's a powder. What's a powder?
Horseradish is a powder, or
au jus.
The au jus is the drippings if you do that, but I don't usually do au jus.
I love it. I love it mixed with the horseradish.
If you do it in
nothing better.
When I roll it in the smoker, you won't even think about au jus. I could roll a chuck roast in the smoker and you'll be like, this is awesome.
When you say roll it, so do you roll it in tinfoil and cook it in
rolling
anything?
It is I've got smoke rolling inside there.
Okay.
And then I have a water pan that keeps it moist.
Fred, what does she add?
It is Christmas, Holly.
Well, I'm curious. Sounds delicious, and I'm wondering if anyone can come to dinner. What do we need to bring?
Do you need another child, Fred?
Do you need somebody to, I don't know, bring the chips?
We should do it. Let's plan on smoking something before our next show we do. Are we going to do a show next Friday?
Is that next
I work
Friday?
that day. How about the next show we do when I have the day off? I will procure a roast and I will smoke it.
Well, what if we invite a couple guests in and we all pay a little bit towards the meat and you do a prime rib?
Yeah, that's fine. We should do a turkey. If you haven't had smoked turkey, you haven't.
I have had smoked turkey.
Okay, then.
But I've never had smoked prime rib before.
Okay.
And that is one of my favorite meats. And I say we get Fred to come and Sherry to come.
Yeah.
And we all throw
David to come.
David, get your plane ticket now.
Are you going to the inauguration, David?
Yeah. Who all's gonna go?
Yeah.
We'll eat it while we're talking.
Stuff dribbling down my beard.
David, are you gonna go to the inauguration? Because we have an opportunity to go. We were invited by our own congresswoman.
Yeah, she sent us some Evites.
You were going?
Good. It'd be good to see Dave.
Well, then, shoot. Maybe I should make it happen.
Yeah.
I feel like we've worked so hard to get us here, and I would love to
get us all the way to the bottom.
I would love to be a part of that. And I'm hoping security is really, really good. If you smoke my prime rib, I'll need whiskey.
I'll tell you what, Fred, you come by when I smoke some prime rib.
Yeah, we'll all have to go get the tickets from her office. So that's my only dilemma, because whenever they put that deadline in, I won't be flying in until like that Sunday. Yeah. So if they put the deadline in to get tickets like Saturday, then I have to fly in. That'll cost me an extra $200.
I've got to read the email.
Yeah, you got to pick them up from the congresswoman's office.
It'd be good to go see her.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It'd be fun.
Go see her office.
I'd like to take the kids and...
Should get like a plaque made for her office. Something.
Well, we're always taking donations at the Tooele County Republican Party, and we'd be happy to give her a plaque. David put his package in for the Rubio seat. I need her to put in a good word for me. Oh, you're filing to run for Rubio's seat, David?
Oh, I like that.
Fred would love an inauguration party. Well, if Jared and I happen to go live to the inauguration, you would be there with us, because we'll go live and do a show of sorts throughout the event. Only this time we'll be there together with our microphones and everything like I did in... Okay, so they're going to do a special election, and it'll be by appointment. Is it DeSantis that gets to make that appointment?
Is she tied
or
with
is it
DeSantis?
The party?
Gosh, who else do we know that could get a good word in for you? I mean, does Mike Lee and DeSantis, do they have communication?
I don't know if it's DeSantis or if it would be the GOP that gets to appoint.
Well, DeSantis was in Congress, right? And does Curtis know DeSantis? I mean,
does Curtis know David?
Yeah, I think he knows David. David, they're both there. Not Curtis. Stewart. Stewart knows David. Have Stewart talk to him, because Keith
Urban tickets in July.
Ooh, Keith Urban. Oh, Keith Urban. Is that the country guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're going all over the place. Is he still married to
Sure.
What's her name that was married to Tom Cruise? Who was Tom Cruise's wife before she actually left him? They were in Eyes Wide Shut together. Nicole Kidman. Is Keith Urban still married to her, Fred? See, look at this. Our commenters are. This show is about you guys.
You know what? Katie's oldest boy got me tickets to see Shane Gillis.
I don't know who that is.
Oh,
congratulations!
He's a comedian.
He's the Trump comedian.
Yes, the one that dresses up like Trump.
My doggy is dead. He died like a dog. He was crying. I said I wouldn't be crying, but he cried. He cried.
Yeah, I'm going to see him.
When?
Have you seen? It's in April, I think. Have you seen when him and the other guy looks like Dr. Phil, and they're on?
There's some show where I see, and they have to be really funny, and they roast people.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, why am I forgetting the name? Anyways, yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm talking like my wife and daughters all over the place.
Yeah, so are we. Welcome to ADD. It's real. It's real. So I think that we definitely should. And Sherry, you think about it, but if we all throw in some money and then we do a group evening, so Fred come in, we have you smoke the prime rib, medium rare.
No, I smoke it to 135, which means in the middle it's rare.
Well, can you smoke it to medium rare?
You can eat some of the edge.
Ew. No, we've got to, I mean, I don't mind rare, but it's already kind of a red meat anyway. Do you guys know that the blood, you think you see blood on a plate after you're cutting up a steak? It's not actually blood. It's called something else, and it's created when the cells heat up.
Ectoplasm.
No, it starts with an M.
It's created when the Ghostbusters.
Should I get us an Airbnb? You mean for DC?
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. Hook us up with that.
I've got 4 people.
I've got 2.
So.
Are you taking the husband and the kids?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
It would be a surprise, though, so I hope they're not watching.
Oh. Medium rare.
See, and my mom is a medium rare too.
Oh, you guys can eat the edge. You know what?
Why don't you just heat it a little bit more?
Oh, because then I'll.
How do you catch the juices? Do you put a pan underneath?
I don't catch the juices.
Well, we need au jus. You got to catch.
You can make au jus other way.
But you want legit from the juices of the meat.
Yeah, you can make it other way. Like I can buy some sliced roast beef and throw it in a boiling water and make au jus that way.
David, are you coming in town? Because if not, your vote doesn't count.
David, rare red is correct. You want your prime rib to almost be chewing the cud.
Still moving, really?
Yes. Oh, you want it so rare.
I do love prime rib. I don't care. As long as its temperature is right. I just think that I do also like it crispy kind of on the outside.
Yeah, that's right.
What you want.
See, we can have well done on the edges, and then the further you go in. Yeah, Dave will watch.
Hey, it'll be like what do they call those?
A watch party?
A manga where everybody eats on camera. And it doesn't have to be everyone stuffing their faces like a lot of people chew with your mouth open.
Dude, I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna have grease running down my stuff. Yeah.
Hey, we'll probably get more viewers doing that than we will doing other kinds of stuff.
We might. We should just quit talking politics altogether because it's lame and boring.
We'll call it food head trauma or something.
Ooh, I like it.
I love this. I love
caloric head trauma. Every Friday we come in, we cook something new, we try something different, we bring friends over, we kill it.
I think we just add that to a second show. We still cover the politics and
news.
No,
let other people do the politics. They can sell their soul. We don't have to.
We haven't had to this entire time, and we've still come out without selling our soul. We've pissed people off, at least I have, but I feel like we're just telling the truth, and we're trying to get to the bottom of when these folks are. When we ate crab, there was juice dripping off our elbows. Okay, to me, you're talking about the perfect meal. Can you imagine crab legs and
a little surf and turf?
Yeah, and prime rib. Mm-hmm. I had a friend, my husband and I had a friend. He's the best in Seattle. And one Christmas Eve, that's what he made, prime rib with crab legs.
Yep.
And it was phenomenal.
Ooh, one of our shows, we could do a boil.
Yeah. A crab boil.
Oh, just a boil, just whatever seafood's at the market.
My dad used to do shrimp boils, and we would do shrimp, crab legs, potatoes, full potatoes, sausage or hot dogs, corn on the cob,
if you
mushrooms.
Can get crawdads.
We didn't do crawdads because they were so much work for so little return. And my sister-in-law, we actually threw her baby shower because she's Southern, and he just put newspaper down on the tables and just poured it along the tables, and you stand and eat. And it was something we used to do as often as possible. They're very expensive, but if everybody throws in $10-15 a person,
they're not bad.
Then you can go out to Costco and get big king crab legs.
We'll just get imitation crab and put it in boiled water.
David lives by the ocean. David, you could ship us some crab.
I'll tell you what, when my brother was down in Georgia, we'd go hit this fishmonger that was down the road from him, and just whatever he had, we'd buy it and just throw a boil together, and it was dirt cheap. Oh, Coos Bay, you would catch between 6 and 12 crabs in your if you had
so amazing.
If you did it in the correct season, you would get good ones. If you go in the off season, it gets a little hard, especially they're not as big and they're not as aggressive.
A friend of mine lives in Maryland on his boat, and you can always tell when it's crab season because he's
over there, those blue crab, they'll eat miniature blue crab, and they'll eat in
Dungeness.
In Coos Bay, it's Dungeness.
I love king crab. I love lobster.
Dungeness is probably my favorite. I love
shrimp.
Dungeness is probably my favorite.
When people go to Alaska, they ship home. When I used to work in tourism, they would have their fish that they caught, or their crab or their lobsters, all cold storage and shipped home. And it was way cheaper to ship it than if you were trying to buy it in a store. And chances are you caught it. And the salmon alone were this big. The steaks on them were this big. And the only time I've ever liked salmon in my whole life, I've hated salmon. My mom knows this about me. My little brother got a smoker, and I was over visiting. I didn't know he was making food. And he's like, I'm making salmon. Do you want some? And I was like, no, I don't like salmon. He's like, well, you got to try mine. So I said, I'll take a tiny piece. It was the best salmon I'd had. It was the best fish I'd ever had. And he smoked it in butter and garlic mostly. And that was and I've never been able to recreate it. And I got a smoker now. So I'm learning, and my smoker has recipes and stuff, and it's Wi-Fi activated. I've got the little temperature thing, but I need to learn. Both my brothers smoke. That's how they cook most of their food.
Yeah. If I cook, I'm smoking.
But I've never seen anyone smoke lobster tail.
Oh yeah, smoked lobster tail. You get those aluminum trays and throw like a whole pat of butter in there.
Yeah, so
a little bit of water,
and
just set the lobster tail in on it, and then you want to choose the wood you use.
Yeah, for the flavor.
Like I'll use a fruit wood for poultry,
like apple.
I'll use a bitter wood for apple.
Because I love apple wood I like applewood when I'm making a steak. I love that.
Pecan's my favorite universal. If I'm just buying one, I'm buying pecan because it hits everything. You can knock out pork with it. You can knock out seafood and everything in between.
I haven't bought pecan before. So David, seafood is still expensive. So maybe you and Patricia should get a boat and go learn the trade.
Go fishing, man. I mean, find out where you can crab down there. I mean, there's probably not a lot of crabbing close by. You want to have deeper, cooler waters. But if there is, go crabbing. It's fun. You get a crab cage. You buy a fish head for $5 at a local fishmonger.
I think you can even use like other types of food to put in there. I don't think you have to spend too much.
Fish heads are easier. In Coos Bay, Fred says in Coos Bay, once a year, our ward had a party called Crud in the Mud. Everyone went and caught their favorite in the morning, and we would meet and eat at 1 p.m. Salmon, crab, clams. Yeah, clams is fun to dig for, where you just go out to the beach and find the bubbles and just start digging. Tuna steaks. Tuna steaks is wild, man.
Is it ahi tuna? Because that is a friend of mine got tuna from Alaska, and I've never tasted anything better. I'll eat tuna raw. It is my favorite fish.
Another fun way you can cook fish is you can cook it in lemon juice.
I've heard that.
And so a chemical reaction cooks it, and it does cook it white, but it has that stark lemon flavor. It's pretty good.
I'll eat tuna with wasabi all day long. I love ahi tuna. It's my favorite of all the things to order in sushi.
Katie brought me home food, and it's sitting out there, and all we're doing is talking.
Well, you're going to appreciate it all the more because I haven't gotten to talk to these guys in just a fun way in a long time. And Fred, you haven't been on the show in a long time.
Yeah, what if we just give up the political thing? We lean into food. Seriously.
Then that'll cost us money. We'll be paying. Well, we already kind of do pay to do the show.
Maybe it'll be a little more popular.
You're killing me. I would do that in a second.
Dude, seriously, I hate politics. It's gross. I would rather.
Politics is in everybody's lives, and we need to cover it.
I know it's gross.
Help other people in power.
What if we did a little bit of politics at the end?
It's not in everybody's lives.
So what if we did food at the beginning of every show?
I wish.
And then
but you'd have to cook it, and you're working.
You'll cook half the time, but then when we invite our congressperson over, or our senator, or our rep, they'll show up.
The lemon and lime cooking is how we did it with Durando on the boat in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, David, we need sponsors from restaurants and let restaurants provide. I would be down in a second.
Not just restaurants, but like
food trucks.
Like we got Tooele Valley Meats, we got Hunsaker Meats.
Oh my gosh. Oh, see, I'm too new at smoking. You'd have to teach me. And that means you would have to cook it first and show me what you're doing.
Sure.
You have a job.
Okay.
I guess you could put something in the morning and just let it cook all day.
Oh yeah, you can, like on the long days, you can roll something that takes a while. That's when you do like a brisket. Brisket is like
my brother does a brisket.
hour.
My older brother James in Texas.
Or some ribs. You want to cook ribs a long time.
And he's those cool like knife. He looks like the Wolverine, where he's crushing up the brisket or the pulled pork and stuff. I love it.
Oh, as long as you do not vape the meat. You know what, Dave? I am, what am I at now? 10 days, no vaping. I quit. Lately, I've been on my phone with work calls during your podcast.
Well, I'm so glad you're with us tonight, Fred.
Yes.
And I got to see Fred the night you went to my kid's performance, and I was at a meeting with the Central Committee. Fred was in the meeting with me.
Yeah,
so
see,
I was
politics
so
is gross. You know what I got to see?
I love ribs.
I got to see your daughter sing.
I know. And
she did so very good.
It was so cool. The night that we had our Central Committee meeting, Fred, yep. I was my kid was performing, and Jared was there because his nephew and niece were there.
My niece was, she plays the clarinet.
That's so great. Yeah. My daughter sings. And so it was really cool that my husband finally got to meet you.
Yeah, got to meet Michael. Shook hands.
It's only been a few years.
Yeah. I'm done vaping. I'm out the vaping game. Now I've just got to figure out how to quit the Nicorette game.
Utah made it illegal as of January 1 to sell flavored vapes. And there's an actual ban. And that's kind of... Oh, Fred.
Yeah, Holly, you do such a great job leading the Tooele GOP because politics is gross.
Somebody on Politics Tonight actually accused me of being a woke moderate.
Ooh, I like it. Tell me more. Actually, I quit vaping just because it's something I've wanted to do for a while. It's hard. Vaping gives you more nicotine than cigarettes, and it's more available because you can do it almost anywhere. And like a cigarette takes, you're committed to that cigarette while it's lit. Where a vape, you can step outside, 2 puffs, back inside. So I'm glad I quit doing it. I'm very glad I quit doing it. Now the gum is carrying me through, though I've cut back on the gum. I'm not using it as much, but yeah, it's good. The no flavor vapes is a big deal with our construction workers. It is. It's going to be
with soccer moms all over the place. I mean,
it's going to be a fight.
A lot of people quit the cigarettes and went to vapes because it tasted better. It didn't smell bad. We will put that person in the labor camp, Polly. If I tell you it is, David, you'd understand. It's your favorite and mine, I'm sure.
Do I know them?
He's the guy that was the big hoorah for Phil Lyman, and he was such a jerk to people. But that's the class he put me in. And if any of you know me, the last thing I am is a moderate or woke. In fact, I like to refer as being awake, and I'm more of a conservative than even many people in my county. But because I represent an entire county, I need to vote based on what my county wants as a whole. So finding out what that is always difficult, but that's what somebody who's doing a representation does. They don't just stand up and go, well, I'm going to vote my way. That's not what you're elected to do. You're elected to represent everyone. So, Holly, you're not woke. You're a peacemaker, though. You don't like conflict unless you're setting someone straight. Thank you, Fred. No, I just think that there's a right way and a wrong way to behave in politics. And you should be honest, and you absolutely should be representing the people who put you there and representing them well. And it's hard to do when you represent an entire county. And yeah, because I don't even want to read that one out loud.
We do need to reach out to him and see if he'll come back on.
I did get to go to an event at the Capitol on Wednesday where they were doing, I was invited by our Attorney General, Sean Reyes, and his last, they're doing a portrait in the Capitol that was unveiled. And I've asked him to be on the show, as he is not going to be our AG in January. Derek Brown will then take the office. But Sean has been a friend of mine before he was the Attorney General, and he'll be my friend long after. He was somebody that was there for me and my family just through the hardest time in our entire life. And that was losing my dad. And it was, I will always treasure the friendship that I have with him. He was very good to me and supportive of the Fraternal Order of Police. I know a lot of people say things about him or have a problem with him. I've tried to stay out of that. Since he wasn't running, it really wasn't something we needed to talk to. We needed to interview AG contenders, and that's what we did. So I think we had every single one on our show.
The Democrat.
For the Democrat.
Yeah, the
Michelle
Democrat.
Quist.
We had Michelle on.
You did. I didn't.
Yeah, well, you weren't here that night.
But I don't think we had the other one, but we did have
Michelle Quist
Mylar.
Wasn't running as a Democrat. She was running as an independent.
Right. And she used to be on the SEC with me, and she
was a Republican.
That's what I mean. She was on the SEC with me, but she was not Republican.
It's time for Jared to have chow. Yes.
What's dinner? What do you got to eat?
They went to Chinese tonight because it is Maston's birthday,
and
he wanted to go have Chinese, and I had a show to do, so they just brought me home to go. So I'm sure it's calico, maybe some Siamese mixed in.
That's like a Christmas delicacy for people kidding. Like Eric.
I should have ordered the duck.
I know. They keep the head still on when you order duck.
I should have ordered the duck.
That's sad, considering my pet ducks. They still live behind my house.
Do they?
In the water. And then when they see us come out, now they've got 100 friends. But they will come right up.
Good one, Fred.
That is funny. You guys, we will wrap it up. Yeah. I cannot wish you all a Merry Christmas big enough. I think it's going to be a special year. We have hope going into next year.
It does feel like it, doesn't it? It feels like, I mean, even for the most ardent anti-Trump person, I think they're all feeling a bit of hope, like something might turn around.
I think so. And again, nothing is promised. So tell the people around you how much you love them.
Yeah.
And I thank God. I thank God for the blessings that we do have. But so many of you are working long hours, extra hours, overtime hours to provide for your families and to get caught up.
I do it to provide more for the government.
My husband works so hard for our family, and I'm just so grateful to have him. I'm grateful to have my parents, my mom and my stepdad, to spend Christmas with. And I've got neighbors who are all going through hard times. And I think a lot of people are going through hard times, with their health. And I'm just praying. And this year, my kids know it. This year is more about being grateful and being thankful for each other and spending time with those that we have rather than stuff. Because, we've had to learn the hard way that when times get tough, you got to keep your lights on instead of showering kids with gifts. And at the end of the day, it's so special that at Christmas, kids grow up so quickly. And before you know it, they're adults and they're making rounds to different places.
Not just that, but the Christmas gifts you get them, they grow out of before the next Christmas even comes, or before the 4th of July. Yeah, whereas if you can give them memories, if you can give them moments, if you can give them something long-term, it means more. Fred asks if I am jaded.
I think that if you poke through to his center, it's all jade in there.
I'll tell you, so I had to go back to the workforce like an adult, and 1/3 of my paychecks disappear down the government hole. And I don't know, I'm just in a miserable tax bracket or what, but 1/3 of them, before it even gets to me, 1/3. And yeah, I'm a little jaded. But I'm laughing about it because I don't get mad about it anymore, because I don't know. I don't know if it's because I recognize that it's all a folly, and everyone that believes in the government there to help you or save you or provide you with this, that, or whatever, maybe they ought to read a history book, because the government has always been the ones who did the most destruction to your personal liberty and freedom. And that's my ending. And Fred, I'm going to have you over for some smoked prime rib.
I think, Fred, you got to stay on him about this, because I need to be there as well. And then we need somebody who's
me
not.
And Fred will do a podcast.
Okay. Just as long as someone's cooking.
Me and Fred will do a cooking podcast, and you and I can do this gross political prostitution stuff.
Well, at least I want to be a part of the eating aspect.
Well, no, come on over. I'll teach you how to run your smoker. We'll drive that bad boy.
Okay.
Get you rolling. All right, everyone. Have a Merry Christmas. I'm not a religious person, but let's remember this is about whether you believe it or not, this is about a message that Jesus delivered on loving your fellow man, loving your enemies. It's about showing that goodwill. It's about, during the longest, coldest nights, being that light that's in the darkness, being that warmth that's in the cold. And that's what we should all appreciate about Christmas right now.
Doing something for others.
Yes.
Where they don't even know it was you, and you don't get any.
Yeah.
No one knows it was you, but doing that act of kindness, that could mean the difference for somebody wanting to wake up tomorrow. Just that one special thing, light in the darkness.
Yes. I went to the post office the other day, and I watched two people get into an argument in the parking lot, and it was busy and it's crazy and everyone's frustrated. And I'm remembering that this is about Christmas and everyone's trying to send out their gift. And so I tell everybody, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. have a good day, and just smile, and man, let trespasses slide. If someone does something or says something, you don't need to. You can just smile, let it go.
No, we should live that way throughout the year.
We should, but
that one, it's contagious. Maybe a smile or a Merry Christmas instead of flipping them the bird for doing something that you don't like. They take that with them, and maybe they do an act of kindness, and hopefully they bring it home to their families instead of having a terrible day. They come home and they hug their kids a little longer, and they're a little more patient. I mean, it's that light in the darkness thing, is that so many people have struggled. So many are struggling, and you never know what it is they're struggling with, but everyone has something. And sometimes they just need their fellow man to give a shit.
Yeah. And be the center of patience. Always be patient with people. Be patient with everyone.
Your little balls aren't showing.
Oh. That's a good thing. Oh, I should tell you about the ornament that I hung at my. Anyways, I'll tell you later. Norma, thank you for joining us. She says awesome
Hi,
ideas.
Norma.
Everybody, be kind to one another, love one another. Fred says, I'm no Martha Stewart. My wife is.
Great. We'll get Sherry on the show too.
Yes.
She can teach us all some stuff.
Yes. All right, everybody.
We love you guys.
Yep. We love you. Merry Christmas. Be safe. Have wonderful holidays. I hope everyone builds memories in a couple days that rival all others, down to a 5-day countdown.
And if we decide that we don't have a show next week, we're going to give you a warning on our page. However, I think we are going to do a show. I don't see why we wouldn't. It's in between Christmas and New Year's.
Well,
we may not be able to get a guest, but maybe we could do a
you know what?
cooking
If
thing.
there's nothing to talk about,
there's always stuff.
We'll just do it quick. And here's a message for everyone. If you're having a hard time, reach out, find someone that smile with you. First step is be kind. Be kind to them. They'll be kind to you. The guy and the lady who were flipping each other off in the parking lot, I ended up standing behind both of them, and I ended up chatting with both of them. Good conversation.
They were having a really tough day.
And I was
Did they know each other?
No, they did not. They were arguing because the lady honked, or the lady's husband honked at someone who kind of sped by him too fast. So he turned around and flipped him off. And then she flipped him off. They were yelling at each other, and I'm humming a Christmas tune to myself and giggling about it. Like, man, you guys you're stressed, and I understand it's tough, but you don't have to let it boil in. Norma says YouTube isn't matching the lips and the sound. So right now we're doing a Godzilla movie. And so I hope everyone enjoys that. I hope when they dub me, I have a very sensual voice.
Sorry, Norma. We don't have control over that. Yeah, it could be your internet too.
It could also be our restream doing it, or stop, anything else.
You could pause and then start again. That happens to me all the time.
I don't know. But everyone, Merry Christmas.
We love you.
Thank you for your support. If we don't come back, Happy New Year's.
What? If we don't come back.